Oh, you are A-okay. Don't even worry about it. I'll get started in a minute. I wanted to before I did, I took this my first of all, my print copies of Yael's book arrived 2 days ago. And I'm staying literally the printing. It seems like they're moving quicker at least because I ordered mine after I ordered yours because I was like, okay, they need to be out like now because I'm freaked out something is going to happen. And wow, imagine like that was a founded fear. But anyway, I finally got my book and I'm like up using my dad's office because I'm staying with my parents until I move next Friday. Um, and I have like the most like serendipitous setup with this book. I just sent it in the chat.
Oh my gosh, I'm squealing. That is fantastic.
It's like this little
Um,
ceramic butterfly I painted when I was like 7 at one of those like paint your own pottery places, and then like my parents' backyard, which is a forest.
oh, I love that so much.
Oh, I love it too. Okay. I'm sure a few more folks are probably still going to trickle in. And I'm sure there's probably people watching the YouTube stream that is live now, by the way. And as I mentioned, my voice is kind of shot, so I'll do a little intro and send some links in the chat, but I'll keep it brief. Um, for those who I haven't met, I think I've met some of y'all, but I know there's also people on the stream. I'm Nat. I'm the editor in chief of Fifth Wheel Press, and then basically we've been around for about going on 3 years, and I kind of decided when I just went to get my MFA in creative writing that I wanted to move into publishing chapbooks, and so these are two of the amazing chapbooks I had the privilege of reading as part of our open call last September. And they're really both super awesome Pride Month releases that we're really excited about. Yael's book is already out in print and digital form, and then Sal's is coming out next Friday in digital form, and then print pre orders are open. I will send all of those links momentarily. And then just kind of housekeeping notes. We're opening photography submissions in basically about 2 weeks, a little less, 1st of July. And we are closing submissions for writing for our summer anthology on the 30th of June. So staying busy this summer. Um, so I'm gonna read one thing just to kind of get us situated and started because I never like to make anybody else go first. And I'm actually reading from my like own book that I am holding in my hands right now, which is deeply exciting. So um, this is a piece that is in the form of a Hinge profile that is in my upcoming book with Dream Boy Book Club called You Stupid Slut. This was also recently published in both Hearth and Coffin Literary Journal and then republished by Corporeal Lit like a month or so after that. Swipe or no swiping. Nat, age 23, gender woman, sexuality bisexual, drinks yes, smokes sometimes, smokes weed yes. Profession bartender slash burnout art school grad, home city Baltimore, Maryland. A shower thought I recently had. I've never actually wanted before, or maybe I have and it's just never worked out, so I don't count it, but I've never fallen in love from chasing someone. Circumstance tends to find me with my arms already wide open. Dating me is like picking up a box on a shelf that's marked as is, according to my old therapist. I never could quite tell if it was a defense mechanism or an insurance policy to lead with my archive of human horrors, but it was also never enough to stop them from continuing in spite of me making myself transparent as packing tape. All I ask is that you listen, but really listen. Not the kind where you tell me how sorry you are and assume I've managed to banish the things I just told you far enough that they don't slip into the dreams I'll have once I can finally sleep through the night in your bed. That will take a while. Two truths and a lie. The first time I downloaded Tinder, I got into a car with a stranger to go to his apartment in Towson. I've never had an orgasm. I've never said I love you first. You'll know I like you when the chain links that usually lock themselves around my guts start to break off like bismuth, and you seep through the gaps enough that I tell you honestly about all the times I had to black out while held in my bed just like this. About the reason I keep most everything soft within me lying dormant under steel. All right. So I don't think we had a set order for our featured authors today. So whoever would like to go first is certainly welcome to hop in, Yael or Sal.
I am down to go if unless Sal is chomping at the bit, but I'm not seeing you know, an unmuting at this point. So please do tell me. Typing. Yeah. So in the spirit of today being Father's Day, and of course Sal's book being called Daddy Issues, I thought that today might be the day to explore that aspect of the collection and perhaps read one that I just wrote this morning because I'm chaotic.
Go for it. Also, we love like the this like there's so much dad going on in the air right now. I love it.
Exactly. All right, so I'll start with this one. It's called Liar. She tricked you, remained in her father's house and supped on his spoils. Love is currency. Love is gone from her lips, flown out, milk, her fealty, cracked pomegranate. She who is stoned to you is flesh to others, tender as the underside of a snail. She who is closed to you is plain to others, shucked open like an oyster. I fed her, you insist. She comes back. I fed her, even forbidden things. Yes, she says, drawing you close. She won't elaborate. She leaves on you, whether from guilt or duplicity, her liar's kiss. And see, that's one of those things where love is, in much of my family, sort of viewed as transactional. That no one would ever admit that, of course, but I will. There's this idea that I provide for you materially, therefore you must love me in return, which is just sort of silly. To a child that seems very perfectly reasonable, but it's not really how that works. And it's just, this dancing with guilt and difficulty and anger, and just how do you behave with a person who you don't quite feel connected with, but who also isn't, for lack of a better word, that bad. And then there's the question of anger. How do you handle that? What does that look like? So I wrote one called Hatred. Untreated, unreleased, it calcified. Time would not shake its core. It's a petrified forest, unwavering. You claim not to know its origin. Can you count to 17? Amnesiac, sleeper. Don't ask me what happened. You were tasked with explaining, and yet you never did. Is that incredibly accusatory? But sometimes that is freeing, just to lay that all out and remember that there is a power imbalance in certain relationships, and that there isn't, one party has the responsibility of being an adult and one party has the responsibility of being a child, whether or not that child, like the adult, perceives that child should have known better or should have seen things in a different light. And so that sort of sets the tone for my relationship with masculinity and with men in general. I'm like a very, very cis woman, and it's like to the point where I but I think that largely comes out of a fear of masculinity, if that makes sense. Didn't really have a whole lot in the way of role models, and I had my grandfathers and I adored them, but they were, shall we say, batshit. Love them to pieces, but totally insane. So I was the one largely giving emotional support to them and not the other way around. So it's like I I I struggled with what does this mean? How much do you open up your heart? And that first poem that you read really did speak to me, because there's this question of being, how safe is it to be vulnerable? Like, I realized just recently that I have known exactly one, like, romantically available dude who I felt safe around. Like, one. in my life, and the rest have all just been either people who are partnered or people who, for some reason, I'm not terribly interested in, or that dynamic is just so complicated. And it's to the point where we have my lovely bestie Ash is or should be in the voice chat, and I just, when he came out, I was like, I like, as a trans dude, I didn't know quite how to handle it. I was just like, oh, like, my perception of masculinity is like man bad. Ash is like, ha ha ha. I was like, man bad, but I'm like, but you not bad. Me love you. My lizard brain was very confused by this prospect. And it took me a little while to come around on that. And it's just like, oh, there are people who I can trust and who I can love. And that's just a very interesting dynamic, when my first instinct when it comes to masculinity is that I'm going to be betrayed. And that's what this next one is. It's called Shapeshifter. You showed me your true form. I stumbled, my hiss a whistling kettle on your flame. I lurched, desperate for your dead wood. You turned it to smoke, gnarled limbs of self-protection, jewels in a coal stove. I armed myself, poker sword, river rocks, rainwater. I could not let you live. Fox chitters turned to yelps, then gasps. Creatures trampled in a mad dash out. I showed you my true form. You withered, left me delirious, solitary, tasting my own blood. That's what I associate with vulnerability, particularly in the context of masculinity. Like, is there a place for safety? Is there a place for authenticity? Is it possible for a masculine human being to be authentic? And obviously the answer is yes, but that anxiety looms so deep that it's difficult. It's really difficult to tangle that out. And it just, knowing these wonderful men in my life who have turned things around, and even, like, made me realize that, that really questioned the binary in a way that I hadn't, purely out of self-protection. It means the world. This one's called Teacher. I stay too long. I curl up on couches, on beds and chairs. A wall will do if there is no other nook. I thrust my body against it, hoping its sturdiness will keep me grounded. The sky threatens to swallow me. So I overstay my welcome. I make hidey holes from blankets, freeze up in living rooms and offices. Open my mouth, but don't speak, except here. Here I thaw. Here reminds me that there is no rush, that I can shake off the hibernation slowly, then all at once, a rousing bear. In your den, we fish for words in ice-cold water. Sentence fragments bob up, splashing quick and silver under us. We feast on punctuation, your fingers tapping, mine rustling through pages of chewed-up notes. We find the pauses in the ceaseless twilight barking. You take my cold hands, guide me to the fireplace, sit with me on the earthen floor, and wait. And I did just want to end off with one that I wrote a couple hours ago, so I don't know if it's fit for human ears, but y'all can tell me. That's called Father's Day, and I just, obviously I wanted to thank you all for being here. Yeah, exactly, Sal. I've known exactly one soft man capable of vulnerability in my life, and he was my high school English teacher. That checks out,
Oh my God.
Um,
I've known so many, but I feel like they, like, so few of them have been like people I was romantically capable of being with, because as
That's
we've mentioned in my last poem, I am not capable myself sometimes of being that soft.
right, right. I've known a bunch, none of them American. That's true. That's true, Ash. That is totally fair. Um, yeah. So the problem is capitalism, folks. Um, which is true. I mean, it will absolutely ruin somebody who has to act super macho and has to pretend that they know what they're doing even when they don't. But that's, a diatribe for perhaps another day, or every day. Exactly. This is Father's Day. I'm a tremendous, tremendous believer in found family. Ash is very much that. It doesn't matter. Um, it's immaterial. Like, genetics are immaterial. We know this. So this one's called Father's Day, and wrote it for somebody who I'm not related to. There is no roadmap for this, even in the backs of fantasy novels. I don't ask that you replace him. I was formed without him, like people formed without tails. Only the most vestigial reference left, no aching lack, no longing for extension. And I'm no substitute for her. Clouds can't replace solid ground no matter how much rain they give you. I still can't shake the terror that I'm either an earthquake here to rattle your tables or a spider in your kitchen, conspicuous enough to notice, but not bothersome enough to sweep. And she eats the flies anyway. Still, we fit. We find each other with a mixture of ease and trepidation. I test you, my foot on your rope bridge, legs stiff, my tiny steps eliciting creaks and sways that make me gasp with vertigo. And so you test it with me. Match my halting rhythm, you won't snatch the ground from me. You don't bother with diatribes about bridge mechanics. No secondary source will patch my chasm like this, the tap of your old shoes. Our Goliaths fade to smoke when you tell them to. We disembark. I coat the grass in airy snow to thank you. I'd gathered so much data, piling up evidence, my claim irrefutable. Fathers aren't parents. So what are you? Anomaly, I thought first, then counterargument. Fathers aren't parents, except sometimes. All right. Thank you, guys.
I loved the inclusion of that last one. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Oh, I so appreciate it. Like I was like, it doesn't. I just wrote it. It's not edited. Should I? I'm like, yes, I should.
I've done that a couple of times in recent memory where I'm like, I just wrote this. I don't actually know if it's good, but I have a reading and I kind of want to read it, so I'm gonna do it. Um, Anyway, I thank you, Yao, for reading. I popped the links for everybody's books in the chat, so if you liked what you just heard, you should go purchase Yao's book in digital or print form on our website and not on any of the websites that are the books are apparently on, unbeknownst to me. Um, that
Fucking Walmart and Amazon and all kinds of stuff, and yeah, I mean, totally not the intention, but they're there.
Nope, they're there. We're working to get them off anyway. Yeah, so I will now happily turn the mic over to Sal Kang, who is the author of Daddy Issues, coming out in 6 days.
Thank you so much, Nat and Yael. Oh my god. Oh my god, your poems. And I can't believe Daddy Issues is coming out in 6 days as well. I feel like simultaneously I've been waiting for that for so long now. And also, now that it's so close, like it feels too close. And it's also like hilarious that today's like literally Father's Day. I did not know that.
I didn't
Until I
either
woke
when I
up.
picked this weekend.
Right.
Like, I picked this one because I knew I'd
Yeah.
probably have to be moving next weekend, and I wanted it to be kind of like in between. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it was completely unintentional, but it's so hilarious. I woke up this morning and I got a bunch of emails from every corporations ever being like, celebrate Father's Day with us. And yeah, I just laughed. So that's great. Yeah, as we all know, my chapbook is called Daddy Issues. It features a lot of daddy issues. So I'll be reading a handful of poems from there. But I was like also really inspired by Yael, who shared work from like, I don't know, that was literally like created today. Thank you so much for that. So maybe I'll read a poem from outside of the collection as well to end. Cool. All right, but first I'll read this one called Poem for Protection, which is the second poem in Daddy Issues. Here we go. Poem for Protection. First, my childhood was a lesson in discovering the body as a hazard. Exhibit 1. First time I hear him say the word bastard, I don't hear it at all. He orders me to cover my ears, and the backs of my hands obediently absorb the curved pointedness of it. It's odd how some sounds escape the mouth already half chewed up. I watch his spit land on Mother's cheek and wonder what makes her safe from the curse, not me. Exhibit 2. One of the rare times we're watching a movie without a fight. My eyes smother with a thump under a pillow as the dramatic piano solo begins, signaling an on-screen kiss, something I'm not allowed to see until mid-17. Mother shrieks like sex is a dumbbell crushing her foot. Like one peek at the skin-bare shapes will corrode her sight away. Later, being taught the basics of girlhood, I learned that parts of you are more than just you. They are hidden away for a reason. Exhibit 3. I come home with a bruise on my knee, and he says, "Those are not a lady's legs." How do you reclaim an impossible existence? How do I inscribe a name in the sand and keep it for myself? Second, I've been underfucked my whole life, and it's all just bullshit, really. Exhibit 1. The first time I try to put a condom on you, the rubber slips, trickles down your pant leg like a mother trying to run from desire. You teach my whole body how to speak, and it stutters as if newborn. Afterwards, criminalize my tongue, and we don't touch again for months. Not because it didn't feel good, but because I was ashamed that it did. This is how intimacy slowly foreigns itself from my palms. Exhibit 2. A few weeks into squeezing the fear of fucking out of my guilt-soaked lungs, she searches my room and finds sky blue plastic rod in my drawer. One bar, the only right answer, but I still expect a slap across the face. Instead, a night black garbage bag lands on my lap and she says, "Throw it away right now, quick." And I think about how some words are also sides. She says, "Just want to make sure you're safe. Do it now." I think about the sharpest word of them all. Fuck, 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 fuck. Quickly, honey, please, throw it away before your father comes home. Thanks so much. Yeah, that's like one of the big daddy issues poems in the collection. Yeah, it's thank you so much, Fox and Yael, and just that everyone. Yeah, it's only a handful of poems, but I tried to put a lot in there, like narrative-wise, beginning at like where this I don't know, forced kind of femininity and fear of sex and all of these things begin, and like sort of coming to an end at where I find myself in that narrative now, like searching for refuge and a better relationship with sex and kink, and like learning to negotiate all of that with the kinds of like rigid masculinity and femininity I've been taught, etc. So yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways it connects a lot with what Yael read as well, which is really cool. Yeah, I'll read another one, which is like an anti-men poem in a different way. Yeah, and a lot of the lovely blurbs for daddy issues, one of which was written by Fox. Thank you so much for that. I noticed, yeah, they focus on how the collection deals with like just being born in a body that like from the beginning doesn't feel like, has never felt like it has belonged to you. And I feel like this poem specifically, I don't know, inserts a lot of those feelings into the collection. So this is called, the subway announcement says, keep your legs closed and be mindful of others. The subway announcement says, keep your legs closed and be mindful of others. And I imagine a man with dozens of eyes, fingernail small ends hidden in his shoe, stuck to his forehead like gum. The phone peeking out of a backpack, impaling his sag-heavy chest. Every tile under his toilet seat ready to capture me alive. Here lies the sad truth. None of these are inventions. A woman is only a woman. She can be pirated by a blink in a flower pot if he wants. Doesn't matter if I'm covered up, but I summer in long sleeves anyway. Stepping out of the underground, the sun rays bouncing off buildings feel harsher than usual, like light reflecting against the bends of a magnifying glass or camera. What I'm trying to say is, I was making out with my man in a bathroom stall once, back when we both only knew of that word to be an edgeless verb, to man meant to protect. A flash of light poked out from the ceiling like some kind of god in a shit-stained Eden. He went alone to confront the voyeur while I sat crouching in a stairwell, afraid of my own thieved body. Cool. Yeah, so those are two poems from Daddy Issues. Maybe I'll read the ending poem of the collection as well. I have no grasp on time.
We're pretty good. I mean, yeah, we're just...
Okay.
Yeah, you can definitely read another one.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, so true. Time is fake. Yeah, so those two poems are kind of like where we start off with all this, and this ending is like where I wanted to leave off this narrative. I feel like this could have been a really dark collection of kind of like what's becoming the theme of today, like touching on fear of masculinity and, you know, just like my body has been stolen from me, and that is all. But I don't know, stubbornly, like I wanted to find the positive edge in all of this, and you know, sometimes that can be like a real struggle, and I don't know, effort that I feel like I should not have to exert because it just comes naturally for some people. Also, I've been thinking a lot about what one of my poetry professors said about some collections. It was something like, you know, some books, like, they shouldn't have any kind of light in them because, like, it, you know, it should be up to the readers to just exist with the heaviness of the narrative. Like, that's what the purpose of poetry is sometimes. But I don't know. I like happy endings, and yeah, in a lot of ways, this is my attempt at one. And yeah, this poem was also in Delicate Friend, which I love. And it's called Epilogue. This is how our private gospel begins, with my eyes eclipsing. You dexterous unlatching my throat gate with one hand, your mouth parsing every orifice I once called my own. Our bodies spread thin on the bed, hurtling down onto the floor. I scream tangible screams and ungirl so masterfully in your hands. To be honest, I used to understand sex as arithmetic. I faked orgasms to adhere to the zero-sum rule of pleasure. Now, when you take control, you seal my lips like a borrowing. My hands gone, we tangle bidirectionally, reminding each other with every kiss, I exist, I exist, I exist. You hurt me, and the hurt undoes itself in 30 seconds. You hurt me, and it feels good, and I sit in it for a while. When we finish, you kiss everything, including my eyeballs. When I forget how to breathe, you reteach it to me. I fuck, therefore I am. I love that. Maybe, not exactly, but maybe I fuck, therefore I'm reminded that I am. Yeah, something like that. Thank you so much, everyone.
The OG I think therefore I am was I think therefore I exist. So I feel like it fits kind of still in the original Latin, but I don't know the original Latin for fuck, so anyway. Yeah, I know if anybody else would theoretically want to hop into an open mic situation and read a piece of theirs, they are more than welcome to. But if we don't have anyone that feels like they want to do that, thank you everybody for coming. This was a super awesome reading. This is like, I'm really glad we had such a good turnout and also that everybody read such amazing work.
Thank you so much, Nat, for organizing and starting us off and just everything. You are amazing.
Yeah, this was absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Nat, for everything. Obviously I wanted to thank everybody who was able to come out in person, and I'm hoping that I get to meet you guys IRL in some capacity or other. Yeah, I think
I meant to text you, but I got distracted. I found out this morning that like my absolute best friend is probably moving to New York like over the summer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
There we go. We're gonna have beer or coffee or some form of beverage.
A beverage anywhere I can order a LaCroix is fine. Like it's like hi, I would like one sparkling water.
Bougie.
I do drink, but I'm so mostly sober these days that like I really just like I travel with sparkling water with me.
Totally fair. Totally fair. Totally fair. My friend in Texas does the Topo Chico, which is like that. I think it's Mexican.
Yeah, I worked.
Great.
I didn't work for the restaurant, but I worked for a bar whose like sister restaurant was like a super authentic like Oaxacan and Sinaloense Mexican place, and they had topo on topo on topo.
Also, I never know how to say Spanish words outside of context because it's like, well, I can speak Spanish, but I'm gonna sound ridiculous no matter what I do. But this was really really fun.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I also like I don't want to say I'm trilingual because I'm not fluent in either of my other two languages anymore, but like I've always felt running that risk myself. Like, oh, am I gonna be the English speaker that says the French word in the perfect French accent? I guess I am. Like,
Yes, you are. What's the other language?
I speak French, Spanish, and English. French, I was literally fluent at one point, like
Yeah.
10 years ago, and am not anymore because I just haven't used it in so long. Like,
Oh, I feel that. I feel that. I have also lost languages, unfortunately. It's very sad. Get
yeah.
them back.
It's a real bummer, and I mean I can still read and hear them fine, but my speaking is just not as good as it used to be.
Rust.
Anyway, I will leave everybody to their Sunday. Thank you to everyone who came out, both those that are with us in the chat here right now, and anybody who's watching the YouTube live stream as well. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody, if you are having good weather, that you're enjoying it because I am having good weather and I'm about to go enjoy it.